Hi, everyone. It's me, Kate, again, CEO of Katico, where we help companies to select, implement, and maintain help desk softwares. And today is our third episode of Fix This Flow, and I have amazing guests today. Rachel Hughes, VP of Product at Kustomer. Great help desk platform that focuses on personalized experience and really makes it easier by keeping all the communication data in one space. Really great to have you here, Rachel. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Kate?
Good, excited both about our episode today. And I will not lie, I go to Berlin to Bad Omens tomorrow. Been waiting for it for years. So even made a T-shirt, but it has swearing words, so I cannot show it. And later because it's really long.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And yeah, speaking of concerts, you may already know that I have this favorite topic, which is music, to start the conversations with. So yeah, while people are joining us, we can talk about it a bit.
Yes.
Do you remember the last concert gig you went to?
Yes. So, I mean, I love music. Actually, I'm a former board member, currently on the advisory council of the Brooklyn Conservatory of Music. It's an education in New York that community music school provides music education at about 80 sites across the city. So, music is incredibly near and dear to my heart. So, constantly, music is in my life daily. My last concert I went to, I think 2 weeks ago, I went to see a band called Weekend Friends in Williamsburg. So that was a lot of fun, and watching my kids and other kids play all the time as well. I've got one tomorrow, almost every weekend. It's something like that. So yeah, a lot of music in my life.
Oh my, do you play any instruments?
I played the violin when I was a kid. My oldest plays the piano, my middle one, the cello, and my youngest plays the guitar. He's 7. It is incredibly cute.
Oh wow, that would be a really interesting band.
Yeah, we haven't all played together, but I've played with my older kids, and it's a lot of fun. They're better than me by far.
Nice. Oh, that's so awesome. I play drums a bit, but I'm more of a singer. And Katerina, my best friend and business partner, she plays guitar. So maybe there will be some band. Um, and yeah, if anyone joined us, you can drop the message like, what was your last gig? Or like favorite song you heard live. That would be great. I am working on Spotify playlist. So by the end of the month, we will have it for sure. Okay. We will wait a bit more because there is a bit of delay on LinkedIn. I know that for sure. And we have cello people here in the chat. Nice, Andre. That's lovely. And Katrina sent us some images of violence, so I'm pretty sure everybody are impressed. All right. No bands today. Oh, I didn't tell you about mine though. I went on Monday, actually. I went to the Ice Nine Kills gig. They're crazy. They do this crazy show on the stage, like with different horror movies. But I was there more for other bands, like the gothic creeper band, very romantic, very vampire. But yeah, the headliners, they were crazy. Uh, and yeah, I guess we won't see any bands today in the chat, but that's all right. We have some people. So let's get to business, shall we?
Let's do it.
And just right, I started talking. People started sending bands in the chat. Oh my God. That LinkedIn should do something about those 30 seconds delay, really. But yeah, I'm really happy that we have fans of classic and metal music in the chat. Imagine that Spotify list will be a blast. Yeah, let's not waste more time because I can talk about it forever. Yeah, let's talk about our topic today.
Okay.
So we talk about this balance of routine and complex workflows in multi-team environment. And before we get into our business case, I would like to ask you, what is the main challenge that your potential clients come with when they think about customer? Like, oh, this tool actually can help us. So, what's the main thing they expect?
Yeah. So, in a lot of ways, when folks are coming to customer, they're kind of tired of sitting in multiple systems, going between different tools, trying to really get an understanding of their customer while they're actually delivering customer service. And that's really, when you think about customer, taking a step back, you mentioned this, that customer is really about we are an agentic platform purpose-built for CX that is really focused on personalizing customer service at scale. So the way we do that is really taking that platform approach, so bringing in data. So you're not really, as an agent, thinking about a ticket. You're actually seeing an entire customer journey, and you're having that kind of conversation in the context of that customer journey. So that's a really core part of what customer is.
Yeah, like 360 degrees sort of situation.
100%.
Yeah, I just remember my experience as an agent years ago when I had like 3 screens, 5 different tools that I had to manage just, and I was in chat and on the phone at the same
Trying to
time
keep,
with different
yeah,
people.
trying to keep them up to date and like moving between
And
them.
be
It's
nice.
it's
And
not.
yeah, that's the important one too, because when you cannot find things or one thing glitches and I don't know, it's just like requires a lot of strengths, mentally, definitely.
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
you really can't, as humans, like I think we're incredibly good at kind of making connections, but you really can't hold all of that context in your head across so many different systems. So that's really like it's critical in my view to really see that and have that to drive kind of behavior and help you make the right decisions as an agent.
Of course, of course. And it's all about efficiency. I mean, time matters. So definitely when you save time and energy for the agents, it saves money for the company. Always. All right. Should we dive into our business case?
Let's do it.
All righty. Let me see. Okay. So today we're gonna look into some fintech company. 115, please, not that much, but they have quite a lot of tickets, like 2,400 per month. Different kind of issues, requests. Oh, fraud check is really completely different from everything else, to my opinion. So there are 10 agents and fraud team. We don't know how many though, but we can imagine, I guess, maybe a few. Still, it's not like one person. And of course, email, chat, phone, and ouch, SMS. So the problem: support for financial services app, handling everything from account issues, loan inquiries, fraud investigations, and new loan requests. So cases almost never resolved within a single reply. Single issue can involve customer, loan specialist, fraud specialist, and sometimes legal. Managing all of this over email quickly becomes chaotic, and it's easy to lose track of who responded and what's still outstanding. That's a lot of people. Most inquiries are routine, like payment questions, balance updates, but occasionally we need fraud or compliance specialists directly involved. Caught between simple requests that could be automated and complex cases that require three or more people coordinating real time. So the needs actually to keep multi-party cases in one place so nothing get lost or duplicated, and automate routine updates while keeping complex cases human-led. That's a tough one. So what do you think already about it? Just have you seen anything like this?
Yes, absolutely. And this is really like, again, from my mind, why, really being able to have that full context is so important. Because if you're responding to an email and all you're really seeing is that ticket and you don't understand like what's happening in those other departments, it's just, I don't know how you effectively kind of meet that need. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's I think a pretty kind of an
yeah.
idea of
Mhm.
something where we would customers like really well suited to help this problem.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like specifically in this case, and also like we in Katico have projects that are B2E, so different departments involved. And like when it comes to legal, that very sensitive kind of context, it's really hard to get them into the help desk system. So it's really often like it's a really common situation when legal is always in emails, but when you try to bring them into the case, is just like they don't have that view. So I can imagine that. Not sure about the fraud team, how that would work, but I think also the challenge that is a bit more of operational and organizational is actually to um, convince teams that help desk is a good thing to use, that it, and not email. Have you seen that before? Like that some teams they just didn't want the change.
Honestly, I think that, when you ask somebody to do something like that, like you need to give them value back in
Hmm.
exchange, right? And so that's really, the way, when folks are coming into customer from teams that may not typically use kind of help desk software, like they're actually getting value in doing that. They're seeing context they might not have otherwise seen about their customer. They're getting like a centralized view. And so, obviously it's always, more, getting into a new system is definitely, it takes some time, but you can see the value almost immediately because you can see kind of what the context is, which, actually I'm a former lawyer, so I know that context incredibly important for lawyers as well.
Oh wow! Did,
Mm.
I know so many new things about you today. That's so impressive. Yeah, but what about the, well, for legal, since we're talking about them, like it's important to have a certain level of access to information. So
Mhm.
uh, I assume that system can do that as well. So they are just like, okay, it's safe to use the system, and then they see the actual, I don't know, simplicity and all the information they need. I
Yeah,
assume that would be the case.
and I think that's another sort of core tenet when you think about customers, really flexibility. And so, your legal team may have a different way they want to work, but if you can connect them, if you could orchestrate and automate kind of between them and kind of the rest of your system, then you can really make that work however
Mhm.
works for your business.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. What do you think should be automated? Like we had, well, we tried to have those conversations in in LinkedIn the last couple of weeks about what should be automated and what should not, because everybody are like trying to get AI and automation everywhere. But where does it actually make sense in this particular case?
It's a great question. We have a lot of fintech customers, and I talk with them a lot about this because,
Mm.
like, this kind of sort of moment, right? When you're thinking about potentially there's fraud, like that's a really scary thing. And
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of value that humans can add in that moment. So really making sure that people feel like, you are getting, on the one hand, wanting to get that kind of empathetic human understanding of the situation and get help. But the other hand is, you also want the benefit of AI is just it's always on, it's always there, and it can really very quickly get to the right information and start to help you. So we really think, even in some of these more sort of the cases we've seen, even some of these cases where you really do want the human touch, there are opportunities to include AI in the right way, but it's really up to kind of you, and something that you should continue to optimize or iterate on, seeing how your customers kind of are, how you can best serve them given your specific use case.
Yeah, totally. And I believe that in our case, like one issue comes from another. So if they had like better flow like of information between the teams, the automation would be possible. And I think they don't have it because everything is everywhere all at once. Almost like the name of the movie that won Oscar a few years ago. But anyway, I get distracted all the time when it comes to movies and music, so need to keep myself organized. Anyway, but yeah, like if there is chaos in the processes, how can you automate anything? I think it's impossible. Yeah, it's just too hard. So once you have that order of the information and everything, then you can think about automation. It's the same with knowledge. If you have it everywhere in just little pieces, like, you cannot use AI properly. So there is something there. All right, so should we check how Kustomer could solve the problem we're talking about?
Yes, let's do it.
Yay.
And I'm gonna
Mhm.
try to share two screens here. So just bear
Mhm.
with me for one moment while I do that.
Mhm.
All right. And
Take your time.
of course, just have to log back in here. So
Yeah, let's
I'm gonna,
just do the full screen mode so we can see,
can you
and our
see?
audience can see the most of it. All right.
All right. So I'm going to act as Taylor Ash here, and I'm just going to go through a quick flow here, and I want you to be able to see kind of both sides of the experience. So
Okay.
I'm Taylor, and I am going to kind of chat in here to my kind of financial services, my fintech bank here, saying, help, I think I have fraud, there is a $250 payment that I didn't make on my account. And so and to your question around, AI versus human,
Mhm.
rather than having to wait for, a human to kind of come on, you're already just within seconds getting some really great kind of acknowledgement of the problem with an AI agent that is, basically acknowledging that there is this potential fraud, and is actually, doing is,
Hmm.
you're able to see action immediately, which I think is super important. So
Uh-huh. So
you
on the
see,
left side, we see the entire communication
exactly.
flow. Oh, like everything. So it's not only chat, it's like all the
Exactly.
updates.
Exactly. So again, this was an AI agent, but I can see the conversation that the agent is
Mhm.
having with the kind of with Taylor, but I can also see Taylor's full history with me. So I know, as an admin here coming in, her account, when it was created, sort of, this loan, all of that is here. Um, and um, and I can just, so I've got this great response, and I can like look into the conversation if I'd like to as well,
Mhm.
and say, if anything else, nothing else, please let me know what is next. And I, again, just being able to get that immediate response for Taylor when she's frankly upset and concerned about this payment. um, and then I'm going to go ahead and say, why
Mhm.
do I believe and I don't have to be super specific here. I can just say, I didn't do it. I didn't make the
Yeah,
payment.
yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds very realistic.
yeah. And yes, it's yes, the exact amount. So again, like super, super natural here. And you can see that actually what has happened within Kustomer now, I'll just kind of scroll back here, is, sorry, where did that go? Yeah. We actually created a fraud alert.
Ah,
And so that is another kind of important part of when you think about Kustomer. We have, this ability to create these custom objects, and you as a customer can really determine what is the right way to use that object to help you route information and route actions and tasks to the right teams. So I see this fraud alert has a priority set, some information about kind of timing, and it's actually already set on the to the fraud alert queue. So I'm going to go ahead, or anything you want to add?
can it be a bit difficult here and ask you, what if the customer comes back and say, "Oh, shoot, I remembered. It was like this advent calendar I bought from Sephora, whatever." No?
Yeah,
Can it be like that? What will happen? Like, because the account is already locked. So, and this behavior can also be considered very suspicious. No?
yeah, no, I mean, this is, you're able to go to the conversation, go back, and obviously, the power is really in the flexibility. So you can decide what is the workflow here, and if
Mhm.
an agent is coming in and seeing kind of, oh, actually, we're getting a message back, you can make automations that kind of close the fraud alert. So that's all possible. It's really a matter of how you want to orchestrate it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that if the customer keeps changing their mind, that probably should be alert not to close the alert, but actually investigate it further. Because I don't know, I just try to imagine how that would work, especially on holidays.
Yeah, no,
I think that would
absolutely.
be crazy because I've worked with uh, e-commerce like as an agent, and I remember just clients being like, "Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, actually I did. Oh, like I want my order." Like, but yeah, it's a bit different, but still.
Yeah, no, humans are messy, absolutely.
Yeah, so I guess this is the part where the human probably could be involved instead of AI when customer keeps changing their mind. I guess that would
Exactly.
be my comment.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, I'm just gonna show here, so assume I'm actually on the fraud alert team here, and I
Mhm.
come in, and I now have this task. I've been notified, and I'm seeing it actually
Mhm.
in my inbox, and I can go in and sort of investigate and maybe see the back and forth with Taylor as well, and determine kind of what the right action is, right? And so,
Mhm.
let's say, assuming that, I'll just kind of maximize my screen here, assuming that, I go ahead, I investigate, and to your point, actually, Taylor set up auto pay already, like when she started the loan. And so even though she didn't personally make the payment, we're able to see that Taylor is actually, let's just say for this example, there is no fraud. She did make that payment. So I, as this kind of fraud alert kind of rep, can go in here and, actually, I'm going to use my AI here to help just craft the message, just to say, tell Taylor that there is no fraud. She had auto pay set up.
That actually reminded me that I was once tailor myself. It was so embarrassing. Like, oh my God, they took my money. It's a fraud. Oh, I did that. I have such a strong flashback. I don't know what that was, but I was so embarrassed when they just showed me the message. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, look, that happens, and that's
We're
totally,
humans. Yeah, but it's hilarious
yeah.
you do that. Okay, so
Okay.
that's a
So
really good message the AI crafts.
yeah, and this is, again, like, why context is so important. It's important for humans, and it's also incredibly important for AI. So the AI can use the fact that, the personal loan, including the ID, including the amount of the loan. So really, this agent could have gone in, could have gone to look at the timeline, or in another system, hunting and pecking and copying and pasting this exact ID. But that you shouldn't have to do that. You really shouldn't have to do that. So that's really how you can, think about working together
Yeah,
with AI versus really kind of AI being that support to that rep.
true. And actually, well, I guess that wouldn't be possible if all information wasn't in the same place. I guess.
Exactly. And that's why, data is incredibly important.
Of course, because I don't know, I'm not that like technically in like the tech person when it comes to AI, so I'm not sure if it can like take things from different kind of places. But I guess even if it's possible, it's really hard to do. So it's really great to have all the information you might need in one space.
Absolutely. And, I think the other piece, we didn't touch on this as much, but, I'd sent this, you can send this really to whatever channel very quickly and easily that is the preferred channel. So, let's say Taylor had moved off of chat, which is probably the case as a fraud team member. I probably was doing this a little bit later. I could send this, directly to Taylor's email as well.
Oh, or phone, yeah. So
Or
probably there are some notes what customer prefers, I guess.
Exactly.
Oh, that's nice. So there can be different channels, email, phone,
Ex-
WhatsApp, kind of.
Exactly.
Huh.
WhatsApp, socials, and that's really, again, like people who are in these kinds of circumstances. If, in this nice kind of case that I've laid out here, there wasn't fraud, but when there is fraud, like,
Hmm.
imagine you're incredibly worried, and you're getting messages on a channel that you don't normally use. It's, not a great experience.
Yeah, when the customer is already frustrated, I would freak out if money disappeared from my account. Like 250 is quite some money, you know.
100%.
So yeah, I can imagine that it would be stressful. So better not to add more stress um, to the customer. And how would that collaboration between teams work here? So everybody has their own inbox, or like when you need to involve someone like manually, how that would look like.
Yeah, so, it's very easy if I wanted to reassign a user or reassign to a team. So that's, if you're manually doing that, but generally, uh, using kind of automations to help
Mhm.
orchestrate when you're talking about the situation where we started with this business case. It's really critical to make sure that you're leveraging that to, make it easier to involve all the right folks within a journey.
Mhm, mhm. So you define the workflow, and then just like how actually it works, and then you just build automations around it. So
Yeah.
everything.
You want me to show you a little bit of that too?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy to do that.
Always curious
Let's
how that's set up
let's do
works.
it. Let's
And
do
I'm
it.
pretty sure Katerina will be excited to see it.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna just do a quick kind of workflow, same theme here, right? So thinking about, what we're building, right? I'd like to create a workflow that updates, let's say, so we were talking about the priority, right? We had set this fraud issue at a P1. Let's say we actually, wanted to route some of our more urgent fraud kind of cases to even a different queue and get those addressed even faster.
Mhm.
So, let's say that updates or that let's say identifies fraud alerts with a P0 or P1 priority, and routes them to the priority fraud queue. And this is, I think this is really critical because, when you think about orchestrating workflows, it really does need to be easy to do that because, you're spending a lot of time, like, we're looking across a lot of work, and, we really want our admins to be able to very quickly make these kinds of like changes in the way they're orchestrating so that they can, really react to like what's happening on the ground as they're kind of identifying pain points within their team. So this is actually one of our newer AI assistants, which I love. It's kind of taking all the information that it has and that it knows and sort of creating the workflow and sort of streaming this information. That's really helpful for folks who are really diving in, making sure they understand exactly what's happening. So it's kind of working here, and let's just call this priority fraud routing. Like
Okay,
that.
so you don't have to actually move around all those
No, exactly.
boxes by yourself. Because I
Exactly.
remember when we started, like working with implementing systems, and I will not name the system used, but like it was so hard. I mean, really need to select the rules from the list. Oh, and we
100%.
already have a comment from Katerina that it looks like a dream for help desk admin because she was the one who
Yeah,
had to like write, like select all these drop downs. And I remember in the system, like just every rule was created separately, and you need to remember which one you created so they don't overlap.
yeah,
And some other tools, there are boxes like here, but you also need to manually like figure out how. And it's just amazing. You can just write a prompt and the system will do it for you.
and
That
I think it's like it's so helpful to have. It doesn't even just take kind of what I wrote. I just wanted to point this out here, actually, which I, wasn't expecting. It really, thought through the fact that if I'm assigning something to a P0 and a P1, which I said to assign to the priority queue, so, the other priorities need to go somewhere as well. So, really, taking what you wrote and like reasoning on it and determining what is the right workflow to achieve your goals.
that's so amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is a really fun kind of enhancement in the last few months here, and customers have just been actually enjoying using the workflows. Which, when you think about kind of admins, like how often do you think of fun as a big part of the job? So it's really great to hear some of that feedback.
Yeah, that would be mine too, because I'm usually the person who like helps to understand what the processes are, and I like create the tasks, like the I forgot the word in English, but anyway. So I'm just like, okay, this is what should happen. So it would be just so nice to say it, like to write it down, and the system would do it all.
Exactly.
Cool. Amazing. And of course, you can edit it. You can test the workflow.
Yeah, and there's a lot. We all know that it's, seeing kind of a nice demo is one thing, but, the reality is you need to do a lot of testing. You need to really think through kind of edge cases. And that's something that, we have an incredible expertise at. And that's really what we built into the testing here as well. So, it's incredibly important not just to think about kind of the creating, but we were talking about
Mhm.
different rules, different automations. Do those kind of conflict? Like, how can we ensure that when you add a new rule, that you're really thinking through the holistic sense of what's happening within your org?
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for showing us how it works.
Of
And
course.
I already see great comments in chat. Like there is comment from Andrea saying like, this looks really cool. We've got something like this in our BPM and process management, but not as refined yet. Kind of inspiring. So
Yeah.
you see, like you and the way the customer works inspire people to make their products better. So I think that's great.
Love that.
Let me bring back our logos. There they are. So let me think. Did we cover everything for our case? I I feel pretty happy with it. Should we go and see if anyone has questions for us?
Let's do it.
All right. So we should see the chat as well. So for now, there were great comments and compliments. That is a great demo. So now we will wait for our audience to ask some questions, um, either about the specific case we talked about how the customer works. You have your chance. Let's give it a few minutes. And yeah.
In the meantime, tell me more about what you're doing in Berlin next weekend.
Oh my God. While we're waiting for the questions, sure. So tomorrow there is a big concert of Bad Omens. It's metalcore band.
Mm,
They haven't toured for a couple of years, and they released like 4 singles in the last couple of months. Everybody are getting crazy, and they have amazing show. Actually, the one they're going to have on 11th of December in Amsterdam, stream they will stream it online, so it will be possible to see. And I have VIP upgrade, so I'll be right at the stage. I mistakenly thought I will meet the band, but I didn't read the terms and conditions. But that's fine. And in Berlin, they have Christmas fair, Stranger
yes.
Things themed
Oh, that's
Christmas
awesome. I
fair.
just love, yeah, the Christmas fairs in Germany are wonderful. So that's
Yeah,
fun.
and I know that there is new season of Stranger Things, so I'm going to stay in the line a bit, but want to see what they have there. And they have Pop Mart. We don't have them in many cities in Europe, actually. So I'm gonna stay in the line and, uh, well, not Labubu exactly. I like another character, but also very cutesy. So that's my plan. Stand in lines for things I want to see, basically. Okay, and while I was talking some, well, hopefully funny story. We have two questions. So let's go with Andre. Like, what's the balance between enough information about customer and too much?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's something that we think a lot about because when you think about what AI is unlocking for us, right? Having that context, having that information is critical, but you don't actually need to see 100 or 1,000 pieces of data about your customer. That really can be overwhelming, and you really just need the 10 most important, most relevant pieces of data. And so we really are continuing to think through how can we help simplify for agents and really make sure that you should have the context. It should be there. I really do believe that more context helps ensure you're having the right conversations with your customers. But making sure that you simplify. There's ways in which you can do that today in customer as well. But even continuing to looking forward, that's really something that I expect the industry is going to move towards, and certainly customer as well.
Nice. Yeah, with a lot of data, it's really hard to define what is important because some people think that everything is important, but no, you should prioritize. You have to. And to that, we have a question from Katerina. What types of insights or reports can teams generate inside customer?
Yeah. You want one more quick demo before we? I'm happy to do that. Or
Oh,
should I?
of course, of
Let's
course.
see.
Yeah, I'm ready. I think we all
Okay.
are.
All right. Let's see here. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So going back, we have a lot of kind of the core reporting that you would expect, but
Mhm.
what I just wanted to highlight here is because we have so much data, there's really so much more that you can do within reporting within customer, really to like get those insights that help drive your business. And incredibly excited about kind of our data explorer, which has just come out in the last few weeks, that really takes that same approach that we were talking about with workflows to allow you to chat with your data and really get like very meaningful insights into what is kind of what is happening within your organization. So I don't know if you saw, there's a ton of prompts there kind of that give you some examples, but it's really you coming in and saying, what is the, what question do you have about your business, and getting really concrete, kind of clear understanding of what that is. So I think I
Oh,
clicked on something around kind of the times of day conversations were created in the last 30 days. And I'm getting, just on the fly here, some really nice charts, information about our busiest times, distribution by channel, and really recommendations, which is, that's really what the kind of promise of reporting has always been, is this is information that'll help you take action. And that's kind of a core tenet for us is, this is as important, the key here is helping folks take action on the information that they're seeing.
That's really great. And I like how you said that you can just chat with your data. That's really cool. I'm pretty sure we're gonna use it in some content because it's really great. And also, like you said, the insights are important because just raw data, it can be anything. And I'm not a fan of those reports we see from time to time on LinkedIn as well, like trends of this and that year. Like some companies do the research, they actually collect the data from people and they just throw it at the audience without specific, like, okay, what to do with it, like first how to understand it and then what to do with it. So having really such a good help, it makes it easier.
Yeah, no, I really think the way the world is heading is, you really need to make it easier for folks. We have a lot of data, we have a lot of context, but that's only as helpful as the meaning that you can make out of it.
Exactly. And we have one more question from Andre. Like, how do you manage the general information that AI knows, like sync with internal knowledge base or something like that?
Yes, absolutely. So within Kustomer, you can sync with our internal knowledge base. You can sync with external knowledge bases as well. So absolutely, critical when you think about agents, AI agents, you need to have both the right knowledge, and actually the tools to take action. And that's the other important piece. So knowledge plus tools, and tools are really, you reaching into other systems, taking the kinds of actions that we were just talking or seeing, where you're, synthesizing, making decisions around priority, routing to different teams. So, both parts are incredibly important.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I think we answered all questions we had so far. So it already became sort of a tradition in this show to share some inspirations and upcoming updates maybe you have that you're excited about, what Kustomer's gonna focus on in the nearest future?
Yeah. So, I think actually what I was just talking about was a little bit of a hint when we were talking about simplifying and really, this principle. Customer's always been about that 360 view, that understanding of being able to have all of that data. But we really want to make it easier for you not to have to literally see all of that data, to be able to, make sure that you can tailor the context to what you need. So, think about, that's really a core part of where we're headed, especially with regards to the rep experience.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel. It was a pleasure. And I really appreciate our audience today, very active in chat. So when you have time, Rachel, after the event, you can read a really lovely conversation between several people. So only means that the content you presented, the topics we discussed really make like sense for the audience and they're important. I really appreciate you. Thank you for joining me today. And yeah, I guess we can say our goodbyes to the audience and have a, I don't know, have some good rest, maybe nice coffee.
Thank you, Kate. It was great talking to you today. And yeah, take care.
Thank you. Thank you to Rachel. Bye.
Bye.